the magistrates of the city sent to demand the prisoners from on board the ship, in order to punish them according to their deserts. But fearing the captain of the pirates should make his escape, as he had formerly done, being their prisoner once before, they judged it safer to leave him guarded on shipboard, for the present, while they erected a gibbet to hang him on the next day, without any other process than to lead him from the ship to his punishment, the rumour of which was presently brought to Bartholomew Portuguese, whereby he sought all possible means to escape that night. With this design he took 2 earthen jars, wherein the Spaniards carry wine from Spain to the West Indies, and stopped them very well, intending to use them for swimming, as those unskilled in that art do corks or empty bladders. Having made this necessary preparation, he waited when all should be asleep, but not being able to escape his sentinel's vigilance, he stabbed him with a knife he had secretly purchased, and then threw himself into the sea with the earthen jars before mentioned, by the help of which, though he never learned to swim, he reached the shore, and immediately took to the woods, where he hid himself for 3 days, not daring to appear, eating no other food than wild herbs. Those of the city next day made diligent search for him in the woods, where they concluded him to be. This strict inquiry Portuguese saw from the hollow of a tree, wherein he lay hid, and upon their return he made the best of his way to Del Golfo Triste, 40 leagues from Campechy, where he arrived within a fortnight after his escape; during which time, as also afterwards, he endured extreme hunger and thirst, having no other provision with him than a small calabaca with a little water, besides the fears of falling again into the hands of the Spaniards. He ate nothing but a few shell fish, which he found among the rocks near the seashore, and being obliged to pass some rivers, not knowing well how to swim, he found at last an old board which the waves had driven ashore, wherein were a few great nails. These he took, and with no small labour whetted on a stone, till he made them like knives, though not so well. With these and nothing else he cut down some branches of trees, with which twigs and osiers he joined together, and made as well as he could a boat to waft him over the rivers. Thus arriving at the Cape of Golfo Triste, as was said, he found a vessel of pirates, comrades of his own, lately come from Jamaica. To these he related all his adversities and misfortunes, and withal desired they would fit him with a boat and 20 men, with which company alone he promised to return to Campechy and assault the ship that was in the river, by which he had been taken 14 days before. They presently granted his request, and equipped him a boat accordingly. With this small company he set out to execute his design, which he bravely performed 8 days after he left Golfo Triste; for being arrived at Campechy, with an undaunted courage, and without any noise, he assaulted the said ship. Those on board thought it was a boat from land that came to bring contraband goods, and so were in no posture of defence, which opportunity the pirates laying hold of, assaulted them so resolutely, that in a little time they compelled the Spaniards to surrender. Being masters of the ship, they immediately weighed anchor and set sail from the port, lest they should be pursued by other vessels. This they did with utmost joy, seeing themselves possessors of so brave a ship, especially Portuguese, who by a second turn of fortune was become rich and powerful again, who was so lately in that same vessel a prisoner, condemned to be hanged. With this purchase he designed greater things, which he might have done, since there remained in the vessel so great a quantity of rich merchandise, though the plate had been sent to the city. But while he was making his voyage to Jamaica, near the Isle of Pinos, on the south of Cuba, a terrible storm arose, which drove against the Jardines rocks, where she was lost; but Portuguese, with his companions, escaped in a canoe, in which he arrived at Jamaica, where it was not long ere he went on new adventures, but was never fortunate after. End of Chapter 5, Part 1. Recording by Acacia Wood. Lastly, they agree what rate each one ought to have that is either wounded or maimed